Today on Gamer's Couch,
Tales and Games. Little Red Riding Hood.
Hello.
In the hood.
We're in the hood.
Without a hoodie.
Does hair count as hoodie?
Missed opportunity.
Oh, man, they're all in the basket to do laundry. Anyways, welcome to the couch. Happy Sunday. This is my sweetheart husband.
Once upon a time, there was a YouTube channel talking about fairy tales, wolves,
Art.
and ducks.
And board games.
And hoods? Hoodies.
Hoodies. Yes. Sweetheart husband Daniel and myself, Sarah, the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, we are talking board games every Sunday, and today is no different. We have a lovely, sweet, tiny game on the couch. Little Red Riding Hood, published by Yellow. And we're going to talk about that game in depth. He will begin with talking a bit about rules and general gameplay of this lovely board game, and then we talk about what we liked or not liked about the game and finish off with funny stories and experiences that we had while playing. While he explains, I will sip coffee and try to look nice and not interrupt him.
I will be the grandma.
You will be the
in fact, I'll be the wolf in disguise as a grandma.
Yeah, that fits. The gray hair is a lovely feature there that helps along. So
it's a more mature wolf.
Yes. But you're not good with the wrinkles. You got to work on that. I will try to make you look all cringy in a few years. We'll come back to that. But tell us all about rules and gameplay, and I will drink coffee.
Coming in this box that looks like a book from the Tales and Games series, and we've talked about the Hare and the Tortoise before. This is a similar, smallish kind of game, but with interesting twist, because that is actually a game that can be played in two different modes, one being cooperative and one being competitive. The so-called easier version is the cooperative version, and you can either play that alone or up to 5 players. The aim of the game is to have Little Red Riding Hood with her red pawn run around the forest, starting up here somewhere, and the wolf.
You always show the wrong side.
I'm sorry. The wolf. I thought there's stickers on both sides.
No.
Then let me get back. Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf. Maybe look at it from this end. Now, please hold. Okay.
Behold, the riding...
Little Red Riding Hood is starting here on the board, and the wolf is starting, next to her, or you can start there. Actually, this determines the difficulty of the game, how much of an advantage you have going forward. Now, during the game, you will move Little Red Riding Hood across this path down here, and the wolf goes down this path there. On these 4 spots will be 4 spots will be 4 mystery tiles, where only one, if revealed, shows the hut of Grandma. Or Grandma's hut, if you don't want to make it sound like an awesome sword from Dungeons and Dragons. Hut of Grandma, +1. Because she invited someone over for tea. So you don't know where this is, and give some random element in there, making things a little more interesting. So, how will you move people around the forest? Well, actually, this is not much of a forest yet, because we forgot crucial gameplay elements. These trees can be placed across the board, and I hope it's not too difficult to hold this while I'm explaining. So you can make this game board look way more awesome with all those trees in there. There's a squirrel and a bear
And a raven.
It's
He
a-
looks at me very suspiciously.
It's a forest. Actually, looking at this, the art style and the type the game looks, is it difficult to hold?
I need to scratch my nose, and I try to have it in my This will... No. Yeah.
That's not your nose.
It goes up to the nose, but the itchy part was on the cheek. I'm sorry, guys. But I have to hold this thing. Can I set it down?
No. So the art style actually reminds me of that animated feature about a murder, which...
Can I have a... go on.
This is super professional.
Because now I can hold it with one hand and can scratch myself. I'm sorry, guys.
Do you want to explain how this works?
Like I said, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, you will have those two move down there to find Grandma for, well, good or bad intents. So how do you move? Well, the game actually plays with these cards, and yes, you can put that away now because
now that I got
the fun of
tray.
making you hold it with both hands is gone. You'll be playing with these cards, so you'll shuffle these cards and put them face down, revealing only one of them next to the stack. Now, on each turn, each player has to make a choice, either to draw another card and place it next to the ones that are out already, or to say, I'm done gathering. So what happens if you draw a card? Well, the number on the card that you draw must be higher than the amount of cards already, well, revealed. So I drew a 6, and that is higher than 1 because I have one card out here. My next card is a 5. A 5 is still higher than the 2 cards out here. And so I continue revealing cards, pushing my luck, because as you might have guessed, some cards are here more often than others. So you have some just 1 1, 1 2, but 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, and 1 6. These are also the regular numbered cards. So what happens if you want to stop and pick up your gathering gear? Most of these cards have little flowers on them. So this one has 3 flowers on them, the 2 has 2 flowers on them, this 3 just has 1 flower on it. And for each of these flower icons, you will put these face down tokens on your cards, and if you stop gathering, you will reveal them and move a Little Red Riding Hood 1 spot forward for every flower that is revealed. Each pebble revealed, well, sorry, she doesn't move there either, but good for you, none of these make the wolf move. If you stop gathering, the wolf will move 1 space. So your job is to reveal as many cards and reveal as many of these tokens as possible without, well, going over and losing all those cards and tokens, and starting a new gathering round. While then, if you stop the gathering, count the number of flowers, move her forward, and you're good. Tokens that have been either gathered will be put on your little basket thing just for storage purposes. You might have guessed correctly, there's a limited amount of flowers in the game and a limited amount of those pebbles. So if you ever run out of them, you will have to take all the tokens from this basket and put it out. Meaning, if on your first run you had a lot of flowers, actually it might be not that bad of an idea to get more tokens out or reveal more of that stuff, just to be sure that you get the flowers back into the stack, so to speak. Same goes with these cards. If you stop gathering, you will put all the cards that had been revealed to the side and reveal a new card, but if you go through the entire stack, all of those cards get shuffled again and you start a new stack. There are, however, a couple of special cards in here, and it's literally a couple in the co-op version. It's the 7, the owl. Whenever that is revealed, you may look at the bottom card of the stack and tell every other player what it is. So you have a chance of, well, knowing what's coming up ahead or what will be the last card and what is not coming anytime soon, especially if it is one of the cards that is only one has only one of those in the game. The other special card for the co-op mode is the Little Red Riding Hood card, the 8. If that one is revealed, you will turn over all the tokens that have already been put on cards, count the flowers, and move Little Red Riding Hood that many spaces. In addition to being able to gathering or stopping the gathering and then moving her regularly for the same amount. Obviously, those tokens that are revealed stay revealed, so you know exactly how many flowers you have available. So this gives you the possibility to travel twice with a single gathering. Actually, you might need that because, as you can see on this track, the wolf just has to go over here and has a certainly less amount of spaces to go. Another decision that comes up along the path for Little Red Riding Hood, if you get to this spot, you may decide to take the other path to the house instead of the long way. Unless the wolf is already here and overtook you by some reason. The advantage is, well, obviously you have less way to travel down here. The disadvantage is, if you get on this space and the wolf catches up, you lose the game immediately because he doesn't wait to get to the hut for his lunch. He'll have it to go. Ha! Or to run. Actually, they're moving quite slowly, so it's to go. And that is the cooperative mode. You will move the wolf per turn, one space. Whenever it is your turn, you decide, do you want to reveal a new card? Hopefully that shows a number higher than the amount of cards in front of you. Put the little tokens on cards reveal if there are any flowers on them. And keep on going. And at the end of the game, you will score points for, well, how early you've been there, how many tiles have been revealed by the wolf. If you actually got to the house before the wolf, you also get 2 bonus items, kind of. This, I think it's lard. I think that's the word. Schmalz?
Yeah.
German lesson of the, well, this kind of European German fairy tale. Schmalz. And a cake.
Pie.
Cake.
It has
yeah,
a lid,
I know
it's a pie.
Yeah, okay. It's a 3.5 fire, whatever. So you ideally want to keep them until you get to Grandma, because Grandma is pretty upset with you if you eat all that stuff. And why would someone eat lard on the whatever? If you eat that on the way to Grandma, well, you get to move Little Red Riding Hood one space for each of those, giving you a little, well, advantage there. If you don't eat those on the way, you get points at the end of the game, giving you a higher total score. In that regard, it doesn't matter actually if you play 1 player, 2 player, or up to 5 players, you will just switch out turns and then count points at the end of the game. Which still is alright in my book, I guess, because this game is for 7-year and older, 7-year-olds and older, but only if you have a mustache and a top hat. Obviously not if you're 7. If you're 7, you must smile and be next to a person with a mustache and top hat. Well, maybe not. And goes for 20 minutes. Now let's talk about the competitive mode. In the competitive mode, one player is singled out to be the wolf, and instead of shuffling these cards up, the wolf player takes all of them on hand and decides which card comes up next, making it way more interesting in an interaction there. Also, the owl is on vacation, and instead of that, the trap comes in, giving another special effect to the game. Also, Little Red Riding Hood card stays in the game but goes next to the board. I'll get back to that later. On your turn, as a wolf, you will decide which card to put down or face down before a player makes his choice. On a player's turn, he this time does not only have two choices for do I want to pick up the next card and continue gathering or do I want to stop gathering, but two additional choices. So one of those additional choices actually involves the Red Riding Hood card. It has the same effect as in the cooperative mode in that you count all the tokens revealed, or you reveal the tokens, count the number of flowers and move Little Red Riding Hood, and then can continue gather. But this is a one-time use per game, so if you do that, it goes back into the box. Other than that, the game rules for these cards stay the same. So if you stop gathering, the wolf moves, and you move as many spaces as you have flowers available. But obviously, the wolf can kind of influence the outcome here. By the way, that 0 card, although it shows a wolf, no special effect, it's just the meanest card you can play because it's really difficult to, well, we have at least one card out there, so playing a 0 is always kind of bad for all the others. The other card that is in here that is special is the Trap, the new 7. Since the owl is on vacation, this one takes over its place, and if this card is revealed, the wolf has to move back one space. So that is actually a nuisance for the wolf, and pretty good for the players, especially since this is a 7. So if you can outsmart the wolf, well, this is the way to go. And since you're kind of not refreshing the wolf's hand until he runs out of cards, you have a pretty good chance to get to that. But to make things a little bit more interesting, all the players will receive these character cards that grant special ability. And depending on what that ability is, you can play that at different times. So, and I might need to double check on that, not tell you something wrong. Also a good way for me to show you here are reference cards to remind you of what they do. So let's start in order, and we'll start with the Lumberjack, which allows you to stack a number of, or how many cards are out there already onto one stack and put the tokens on top of them. It is essentially reducing the amount of cards laid out to just one and giving yourself a new breathing space there without losing any of the tokens. Then next we have the Hunter, which if you play this, the wolf has to discard the 0 card, giving you a really good, well, a better chance of moving forward. There's certainly not a card that will make you forced to lose that gathering. The next one is, I need to look up, I think it's Pete. I'm trying really hard.
Oh, it's
Peter. Yes.
Okay.
So it's Peter. I don't know why Peter is here, because I would assume that's Peter from Peter and the Wolf, which would be the musical. I mean, it makes sense.
I can't remember.
He's there with a wolf, but
that character being in the fairy tale. So while you explain, I could read. Let me read.
No, it just says the rules. So Peter allows you to draw a card from the wolf's hand and put it face down. So if you're lucky and draw the 7. That would be actually really cool, because not only have you drawn a 7, but you also made the wolf move back. Again, if you draw a card that's lower than the amount of cards in front of you, tough luck there. And last but not least, you have Little Thumb. And Little Thumb is actually played but not resolved immediately. It is resolved the next time you stop gathering. Because Little Thumb, having the little pebble on here, turns all pebbles on display into flowers, making you move really far away. And if you manage to do that with the Little Red Riding Hood card, that could be a really, really good turn. Using Riding Hood during the turn and him or her. Is it her? No, it's a him.
It's a him.
It's a him. Little Thumb is gender neutral, and
And in the stories, I think he was male.
Yeah. I still don't know what Little Thumb has to do with Little Red Riding Hood, but yeah. Now,
They share a universe?
now you might think, wait a moment, this is a little bit unfair for the wolf player. You're not, well, wrong there, but luckily those cards have a flip side. Whenever a player plays one of those cards, it is put down next to the number card that you're currently trying to overcome or play, and at the end of the gathering phase, these cards are flipped over and put in front of the wolf, because now the wolf may play those cards for their special effects as well. So, again, let's start at the top. The snake moves Little Red Riding Hood back one space. Not that great, but, well, it works. A nice little tactic that even the manual points out is you can play the snake if Little Red Riding Hood is on the shortcut to move her back into the range of the wolf, which is like advanced tactics. Then you have the goat, which removes two of the tiles on the gathering cards. Obviously, you're not allowed to look at the underside of those tiles, but if you're lucky as the wolf, you might just remove two additional flowers from the game. Next, we have the fox. And the fox allows you to look under one of the mystery question mark tiles and maybe spot where Grandma's house is. And not only that, it allows you to switch the position of that tile with another tile. Last but not least, we have the crow.
Sorry.
So Brandon Lee, if I remember correctly,
I was thinking the same thing.
cheesing his way into the game from the beyond. The crow, which allows the wolf to pick up one of his discarded cards back into his hand, making the life of players very much miserable. That's a lot to take in, but it's essentially two game. Well, it's two variants, but they play out quite differently, especially with the added effects of these player cards going in here. Obviously, the good news about the competitive mode is that you don't really have to count points at the end of the game. You either win or you win if you're the wolf. Don't let the others win.
Make them lose.
Little annoying kids. And that's the games, kind of plural.
Yeah. Although they are variant, they play rather very different. So I would say it's games with an S as in plural.
And before we go into our rating section,
like and dislike, that's what it's called.
Our rating section.
The ranting section.
As with all the other Tales and games, this comes with two manuals. One to explain the games to you. The two games in here.
Oh, God.
The other one is an explanation to the, well, you might have guessed it, story of Little Red Riding Hood. So this gives you, well, a little story to tell, especially good if you're playing with adults who are, well, not paying attention to anything else but fairy tales, or children, or both. It's a neat thing. I like it. That's one of the things I like about these tales and games. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Probably you're familiar with Little Red Riding Hood, but for some of them, you may not be familiar with the story or the fable or the whatever behind it. And I think it's a cool thing that they put that in there, a very reduced version that explains to you what this is all about.
Maybe in that fairy tale, there's also an explanation why there is Peter and the little thumbling. Who knows? While you start,
let me tell you a little story. Warning: this product contains small parts that can be swallowed and may not be suitable for use by children under 36 months. This product is not a toy, not intended for use by persons. See what you did there. Gender neutral. 3 years of age or younger, because 3 years of age or younger are still persons. Small persons. Small annoying persons that fart way too much, but you can't really you could try to restrain them, but
no, you can. Not if you have our nephew, you can't.
Yeah, it's quite...
Little farting nephew. The story of the little farting nephew. Yeah, wonderful. We're
I don't see Peter in here.
Okay. Now, I was just wondering, because I guess they just did put them in there because there's no other character in the story that would actually make for a character to play.
And
anyway,
just to close out our rules and gameplay, as I said, it's for age 7 and older, 1 to 5 players, depending if you're playing the co-op variant or the competitive variant, obviously 2 to 5 players. 20 minutes is pretty on time, I think. At least we played the cooperative mode a little bit more than the competitive mode, so kind of go with us there. And as with all these games, just to show you, these come in this book form, which is gorgeous, as always. They have a magnetic lid, which I always find... I don't know why, but I really like those magnetic things. I like the sound of it. I like the feel it has if you open it. A wonderful insert and setup information right in the book thingy. So, yeah, well, I shouldn't start recommending things already, but... I was
about to say, when should I put in the opener for likes and dislikes?
Now... Let me tell you a tale of me drinking my coffee.
Oh, okay. So I start this time round. Just like with any other game published by Yellow, or shut up, don't disturb the mic.
Oh.
Drink silently. So just with, what about silent did you not understand?
It was the crow. It was not my super awesome
slurping kind of a thing.
I'm blanking on the words.
German, and I translate?
Bauchredner.
Puppeteer?
No. What's the name? I forgot what it's named.
I don't know.
Whatever, my skills of talking to you through my stomach, which...
It will be in the lower bar. I will have translated it in the magic of editing and put the English word there.
I killed the joke. Well, it wasn't that good of a joke, but that was not the reason why it should go and be killed.
Anyway, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, likes and dislikes, yeah. So just like with any other game published by Yellow, I really like the artwork style and the quality of the components in this game. They're magnificent, and the one thing I like most about this game when it came to artwork and the goofy feel of Yellow games is the board. I mean, there's just so many things there that are just so cute. Like, for example, Grandma is like really awesome, like peace.
Yeah, that's actually what I meant. That reminds me of, let me now check the internet for what that movie is called. Like, it could be that it's actually called Little Red Riding Hood, but there was an animated film that was a really fun where a murder happens and it turns out Grandma is a secret agent and all that. What was the name of that? To the internet while you talk about
it. So I really just like all the gimmicks in there. She has wonderful boobs and it's like really drawn well. This is
a children's story. Wonderful boobs.
And it's not prude. I mean, it's just... Because
it's a French game and you're not prude. Save your children for Grandma's boobs.
I mean, it's just awesome. I really like the game board. There's a little piggy up here and so many cute things that you can look at for a long time while the parent might read the manual. So if you're a kid, you're well, probably just having fun with looking at the board and the trees, where on every tree there's some animal hidden, like there's a cutesy worm down here and a bear with a party hat. The raven is pretty suspicious. Probably the bear is touching his feathers, and a little tiny hedgehog. So it's just lovely and cute, very sweet for children, and lovely to look at while, again, the parent reads the manual. So I really liked it about this game. With this particular one of the Fairy Tales and Games game, I think it took it even further. The others in that series are funny as well, but not as funny to look at.
So I'm going to show you the name of the movie, or the English name is Hoodwinked. I think in German it had a different name. But it's if you showing you this, what grammar looks like, and the general answer. It's a fun animated movie with
it's very much like the grammar here. So I think the artist
treading the line of jokes that are for kids and for adults.
So I just really liked that. Now, as far as gameplay, this is very simple. So I think this is definitely a game that is intended for children. So it can be kind of boring for a seasoned gamer. But as a family game or a kids game, I think it's awesome. What?
A cooperative game for the whole family.
Yeah.
Arrive before grandma ends up in the wolf's trap.
Yeah.
2 modes of play for big and small.
Yes. Again, it's not...
That's what the Brothers Grimm wrote.
Yeah. Whatever. So I think it's just not intended at all for seasoned gamers. It could feel pretty boring, but it's intended to be a family game and a children's game, and I think it achieved exactly that.
I think
the gateway game maybe into board gaming.
That is true for the cooperative mode.
Yeah.
I think the competitive mode has enough going. To be honest, this is really difficult for me to judge. I think we had like the worst start for this entire series of games by playing the Hare and the Tortoise first.
Yeah.
Because that is actually a really, really good game for
adults,
for gamers. It's still a filler game, and it's very, very simple in the way it plays with the cards and what you want to try to do. And you have this sort of bluffing, betting thing in here. And I get that from this as well with the
cards.
With the cards, and you need to pay attention which cards are out of the game, which are still in the game, and what might the wolf player play to outsmart you, making things even more tactical with these special abilities, and when you want to fire them to get the maximum effect out there, or can you, if you fire it now, maybe he's playing the 0 next and screws you over. So there's a lot of potential for really cool interaction in there. That said, I think I still like the Hare and the Tortoise a little bit better in terms of what's going on. But I have to say this so far is and we've played some more of these games, and
it's my second favorite.
Yeah, this is my second favorite from this. But it's still interesting enough to make it a short dinner game kind of thing.
If you're a gamer like us that is very familiar with the heavy games, the goofy games, and everything in between, and even the children's games that are solely intended for children, I think us still playing this one here as a filler game or a starter game, a dinner game, I think it says enough about what we get out of this game, that we like it. However, I just want to prep this for the rating part, I don't think that this game was made for gamers like us.
Correct. Well,
I think it's intended.
I think the entire series is meant for.
The Hare and the Tortoise. I would say, somebody maybe thought it would be the last in the series, and then you hop on to more complex games, maybe. But I think this is aimed to children or families with young children.
I think the entire series is aimed at that, and The Hare and the Tortoise is the outlier that is also suitable for. And I mean,
I think it could be the stepping stone to other games that your kids or you as a family would be interested in.
And just to be clear, if we had a 7-year-old in our vicinity, I couldn't just grab one off the street, but if I had to pick a game, I would probably pick out this one first.
Yes.
First of all, it's very easy to explain. It's very innocent still in terms of presentation. Not that the other games are different, but
it's a very common fairy tale.
I don't have to think about this at all. The components feel great and look great. You might argue that Little Red Riding Hood has a little bit short of a skirt, but well.
Yeah, that's what I meant with the boobs of grandma. There's jokes in there for adults, but they're not too offensive or offensive at all for kids.
Sure.
I mean,
one of the reasons I think this is really great for kids is because it helps them pay attention to what cards are in there, memorize the numbers are on here. I mean, if you're a 7-year-old, it depends probably on your school system, but your kid should be able to count a good number. But this still makes a nice practice, even though it just goes up to 8 with these cards. But it still kind of keeps them with how many cards are down here, what did you draw? Memorizing. Actually starting to be aware of that this is a limited set of numbers in the game, and if the 0 is on the table, it can't be in here anymore, or how many flowers, how many pebbles are in there. I mean, kids are generally really good when it comes to memorization. See why does your kid beat you at memory all the time, because they're actually really good with that.
That's why I'm never allowed.
This kind of trains the same thing, I would assume, with numbers. I mean, I'm not 7 years old anymore, but I can see that. I can see that being of value here, and it's very, very lighthearted. And as I said, I think it has an interesting enough look to keep a kid interested here as well.
And because it comes with 2 variants of the game, competitive and cooperative, you can mix things up at the table a bit. It doesn't get boring as much. So as we said, we do have other games of that series as well, and I think Little Red Riding Hood has 2 advantages when you compare it to, for example, Baba Yaga. It's for the same age range, and I would, if you want to.
I thought Baba Yaga was for younger children.
No, not really.
Okay, well, but that's a very different game entirely.
Yeah, but if you're in a store or if you look online and you wanna, buy a game like that, and you try to figure out which one do I take first, and you have, for example, Baba Yaga and Little Red Riding Hood, I would recommend starting with Little Red Riding Hood because of 2 reasons when you have kids. One is Little Red Riding Hood, again, comes with 2 variants of the game, so you can mix things up at the table. It's interesting, and it's not every time that you have the same game or the same kind of play at the table when you put it on the table. The other thing is that, especially if you live, let's say, in Western Europe or the Northern American part of the world, your kids would probably be very familiar with Little Red Riding Hood, but not necessarily with Baba Yaga. So the draw for the kids to come at the table and see something that they know could be just that thing that keeps them at the table, be interested, find funny things there while you set up the game. So I think I would recommend Little Red Riding Hood over Baba Yaga and Ant and Grasshopper when you start out with these fairy tale games.
I will disagree.
Why?
Well, for one, I like to disagree with you, but
because you can.
My main point or gripe with that is Baba Yaga is a dexterity game, and I think you can play Baba Yaga easily with a kid that's 5 years old, where I would find it probably difficult getting all those rules that are in here. But it's a very simple game.
Yes, it is. But the thing where to move your Baba Yaga figurine.
No, I think don't underestimate.
No, I don't. But I think it could be a bit more frustrating. But we're talking about a different game here. Little Red Riding Hood. We will have this one on the couch.
We're comparing a game where you have a kind of card counting, bluffing stuff and push your luck versus...
I'm not saying that Baba Yaga is not a good game in the series. I just think if you start out with the series, I would start with Little Red Riding Hood and get Baba Yaga and Hare and Tortoise later on.
My point was, if your kid is younger than 7, you might want to start out not with this, but with Baba Yaga. Because it's simpler. There's less going on there. But...
yeah, depending on if your kid can sit still or not.
Maybe there will be a Gamer's Couch talking about Baba Yaga.
Yeah, I guess.
You think so? It's
yes.
Maybe we have to do...
Just because we don't play games often or they're not our favorites, we shouldn't discard them from being on the couch.
Yes.
Because
whatever.
Again,
I just thought there's not that much game to discuss.
I think we will play it with my niece very soon. Our niece very soon. So once we have done that, I think we could have it on the couch just to include family games a bit more.
That I can see. Having a different perspective in that booth. Actually playing that with kids, not with adults who are still...
Kids inside. Yeah. But anyway, there's nothing really that I dislike. Again, for the seasoned gamer, it could get a bit boring, but you're not the target group for this game, so I wouldn't say this is a dislike for me.
I'm gonna say, if you know a family where the kid is, I would say between, let's say, 7 and 14, something like that. Well, 14 might be whatever.
I would say 7 and 10
or 12.
Yeah, then they start preteen. They might be interested in other games.
Yeah, maybe I'm misjudging. But if you know a family and you are looking for a small gift game type of thing, this is perfect. It looks great. The components are great. It has a very wide number of players, with going up to 5,
which is good.
Which is great if you have a family with 2 kids or 3 kids, which I think is perfect there. The nature of being able to play it cooperatively really is a good thing to get used to how that game is played without having any stress at the table, while the competitive version allows a more deeper gameplay, making this game more interesting for older kids, which I think is that's actually quite a lot of value you get out of the game. So I would recommend that if you're in need of a game that fits that needs.
Yes, and I think it's just a lovely, maybe when you visit somebody, bring it, and the whole family can have some quality time together. Then it's a good investment there.
Okay.
Board games are always a good investment. So let's rate.
Shake your fist.
Shake your fist. 1, 2, 3, go. We're not the same.
No, we're not. and it's just personal preference that kind of tilts the thumb a little bit, and the reason for that is that for the most time this is very simple, and I'd rather play something else that is a little bit more involved, or
the seasoned gamer speaks there,
or something that that requires me to read someone else even more. So in comparison to the always comparison thing being love letter, there's too much required for setup and playing this game for the trying to deduce what the other one has and reading the other person as in love letter. In love letter, you just hear your cards go, and here you have a little bit of setup, and this is really nitpicky, but it is there, and that is a hurdle I need to overcome to get this to the table with myself. So,
and that's exactly why I talked a bit in that section about it's not for the seasoned gamer. So I didn't rate from the seasoned gamer. I would be with you there, but I rated from what it sets out to do. And whom is it for?
That said, I totally see myself playing this as a filler game if either any other filler, something like Love Letter, is not available, or if I'm just sick of Love Letter or any other.
Or the
games,
other players
which happens.
don't like it. Yeah.
So this is nice still to have, and still stays with us, just to have the option of playing it from time to time, or sometimes
waiting for our niece to be old enough
during the evenings after dinner or something like that. We just want to have something that is simple to play, and this is it.
Yeah. So let's hop into the last section, funny stories and experiences. Now we... He's so goofy today. I'm sorry, but not really.
Yeah, I'm not going lard. It doesn't work.
Yeah, so we played it, just the two of us. We played it with my mom. We played it with Tina. So we had the seasoned gamer and also the casual gamer.
Yeah.
And but we played it just with adults. So we can't speak to playing with kids.
Didn't we... We played this with Steve, I think, too, right?
No, we played Baba Yaga.
Didn't we play this too with him? Whatever.
Not that I remember.
Yeah, we have this since Essen, so
I try to think.
We didn't. It got a couple of plays.
Yeah. So anyway, played cooperative. And we actually did sweat a couple of times when it was pretty close with the wolf, because we drew the cards really crappy. And the wolf really advanced a lot. And then we had a few rounds where we outsmarted the wolf by a lot and had, I think, a maximum victory points a couple of times. And that was with just 2 or 3 players, and we just had some nice time. There's not a specific funny story that I remember. Do you?
No, but in regards to experience, one thing that appears quite quickly and often with me at the table is if you have an alpha gamer in your group, it might be possible that that person is taking over the reins and directing everybody, which I don't mind because I'm that person, but
the combination of the two of us is really bad because I'm really good with memorizing things and knowing what's in the stack, and him being able to calculate probabilities super quickly. It's like, maybe not. Maybe don't play this with us.
What is it? Actually, for this game, you might want to try to take it a little bit easier and just go with whatever we have. Let's have a chance here and see how it turns out. That is actually a little bit more enjoyable than really going in and and now we have a 25% chance to draw a card. That'll happen, but if that is all the game becomes, then I would assume that it's not as fun anymore.
Yeah.
And some
Funny enough, even though with me memorizing and you being able to calculate so quickly, the wolf, excuse my language, fucked us quite a couple of times. So even then,
this is a children's game. The wolf really.
I'm sorry. No, the wolf was very quick in 2 rounds of this game where we pretty much met at the last question mark, and it just went for Little Red Riding Hood there to find the hut of the grandma. The jobber. But even if you're really good at knowing what's in the stack and being able to calculate, it could still go to the favor of the wolf, but it's not probable.
You can get screwed over not only by which card to draw, but also with the pebbles and the flowers.
But still, it's way more fun if you just let that go and try not to calculate probabilities too much, or just shut off your brain a bit if you're really, really good with memorizing things. So, like me, I always know what's in the stack without even giving it a good effort. So,
true.
Yeah, but try. It's way more fun then. Yeah. Shall we wrap with a W? Don't make the beatbox now.
No, it's now time to go to bed. I'm going to read you a little story, and it's fine. I'm here. Now, once upon a time, there was a barbecue. And for that barbecue, all the ducks were invited because they were delicious. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yes.
Goodbye.
We don't have the silent duck story. You watched Hannibal this week, so maybe the mean kind of storytelling here is a bit influenced by your pastime this week. Kingdom Death is not on the couch today. We have no cannibalism. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or other comments, leave them in the comment section below. Have you played this game? Do you like it? I'm pretty curious how you think about this game. If it is
what you think about this game.
It's like blah, English.
Probably
blah.
How you think about this game is using your brain. Maybe not. Maybe you think with your feet. I don't know.
Oh, Redner. Do you remember that word now? I fucked something up as well.
Now I'm looking it up.
Oh, goddamn.
This is an internet show now, because this is the second thing being looked up.
So let us know in the comments below if you have this game, if you played it, if you liked it. Did you play it with kids? How did they like it? I'm just really curious what the rest of the world thinks about it. And we'll see you next Sunday on the couch with another game. And on Wednesdays, as always, 9 a.m. CET, my dear friend Tina, who's not on the couch today, but will be in a future episode again, we do draw and paint scenes from board games that we played. So if you're by any chance at all into artwork and board games, like the combination is the thing here, watch out for the Draw for Initiative on Wednesday. We'll have a lovely game there to paint. And until then, do all the good YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And have a very happy Sunday. Take good care. Enjoy. See you soon. Ta-da.
You done this? It's called ventriloquism.
The what?
Ventriloquism.
Ah, okay, good. And now I don't have to put it into the lower bar earlier in the video. I will put it in there anyway.
How's that? So,
will you tell the joke, or
what joke?
That you wanted to make with that word that you screwed up so badly. Now you don't remember the joke anymore.
Which joke?
Easy. Do you remember my name?
Do you remember the time? No. So what will you be drawing for initiative?
For initiative, let me think.
You forgot to give me a hint. You want to shut me out of this.
It has something just like Little Red Riding Hood. It has something to do with eating as well. An animal eats peoples. And it's by my favorite game designer, board game designer.
Could be the vampire from Ghost Stories.
No. Did you?
Hannibal the board game.
Hannibal the board game, no. Which other game that you can see from here did my favorite designer put together?
Damn, what was it? The one with the hippos that snapped
no.
the balls? What's the name of the game? Was it Happy Hippos? No.
I don't know, but
Happy
it's not
Hippos is a
we
snack
don't
around
own
here,
this.
so.
We don't own this.
I had that as a child, I think. Or I knew someone who had that. Everybody had.
No, not me.
So,
But can you guess which game it is?
might it be Gojira related?
Yeah.
Might it be actually not related to a video game, but has the same title as said video game?
Yes.
But not anymore?
Yes, not anymore.
Could it be